Michigan, about an hour-and-a-half drive southwest of Detroit. Decker is very happy with what he says the president has done for his business.
We're growing 25 to 30%, so everything here is well.
So you say President Trump gets bulk of the credit?
Personally, I would say 99%. We double down.
Doubled down despite major concerns about Trump's threat at the time of tariffs on Chinese goods. Decker imports all of these cabinets from China. You're saying a big reason you can't make these cabinets here start to finish is because of all the regulations?
Yes, the regulations are both federal and state regulations.
So when the president talks about less regulation, less regulation, less regulation, you're sitting over here saying, I want that, but you don't have that yet in your business.
No, we don't, and I think it's going to take time.
You are concerned, is it fair to say, about the president's stance on immigration for your business?
Yes.
Why?
A third of the population in Adrian is of a Mexican, Hispanic workforce.
You mean fewer immigrants in this country, worse for your business?
Worse, far worse.
Decker, like everyone we met here, recognizes the president hasn't achieved many of his major legislative promises yet. No wall, no Obamacare repeal or infrastructure plan yet. But most don't blame him. Is there anything the president could do that would lose your support?
Strange as this is going to sound, I don't think that's possible.
Since NAFTA was signed in the early 90s, Michigan alone has lost more than a quarter of its manufacturing jobs. And the promise you heard from the president so much on the campaign trail was that he would bring those jobs back. So far in the last year, though, manufacturing jobs in this state have barely budged. But across the country, a different story. More than 170,000 manufacturing jobs have been added so far this year, compared with a loss of 34,000 over the same period last year. You called NAFTA a shakedown.
It was.
Of America.
It was.
But for Sal Masheri, a nearly lifelong auto worker at Ford and an immigrant from Sicily, some of the president's promises have come up short. What grade do you give the president?
Well, right now, I would just give him a C.
What do you think the president could do to get a higher grade in your book?
Everybody's waiting on the taxes.
It is tax reform for you, number one now.
Numero uno.
If tax reform does not happen, does he get your vote in 2020?
No. Simple as that.
Trump is the first Republican presidential candidate Sal has voted for, after casting his ballot twice for President Obama. Now it's the division he's seeing that brings him to tears. This is really personal for you. I mean, you bring up your kids.
I'm afraid, okay, that they're not going to have a pension. They're going to be depending on a government for assistance, for medical, okay? You want your child to be dependent on that? No. You want them to be free and have a future. It's called the human race, not the Republican or Democrat. It's called HR.
I think President Trump has done a very good job, considering the fact that he's had very little, if no, cooperation from Congress.
I think he's done well considering the level of pressure to literally have half of a country so against you.
But didn't President Obama face that same challenge?
No, I don't. I think you're going to always have those sections that we're not going to support Obama no matter what.
Mitch McConnell said, you know, we're going to make him a one-term president.
Well, Mitch needs to retire himself.
Not a Mitch McConnell fan?
I think that Mitch McConnell serves a different agenda. I don't think he serves an agenda that's for America.
Where's the wall?
Well, the wall is going to come. We cannot blame Trump if the wall does not get built, because you do have the globalists like Mitch McConnell and many others, and McCain and many others who do not like